Today we're going to be doing a risotto with pomodorriccio tomatoes. That is a semi-sun-dried tomato that is absolutely wonderful and very flavorful. Also with basil. And we're also going to be doing a pan-seared chicken. Very wonderful. I'm very excited. So here we go. I'm actually going to start with our chicken. So I have giant chicken breasts right over here. I'm going to season these up very well. I'm also going to put just a touch oil in my pan. Just a little bit of love. A good secret to do, something to remember, is to always get your pan hot first before you put anything in it. That way your oil has a chance to kind of spread out. That way you don't end up using too much. So I'm going to take my chicken, lift your hand high and really get that seasoning on there nicely. Don't be scared if some of the seasoning kind of goes other places. It's okay, but you really want to give it a nice even coating. Okay, gonna flip it over and do the same thing. This is a nice seasoned salt, one of my favorite salts. Give it some love. Always gotta give it some love. Okay, if your pan's nice and hot, take your chicken. This is the presentation side down. This is the skin side, I'll put it that way. Skin side should go down first. So, get it right in your pan. Do the same thing with this one. Let that chicken sear, okay? Next for the risotto, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan. Next I'm gonna add my shallots. This is about 1 shallot. Get all that in there. I just wanna give this a nice little saute. I don't wanna brown it at all or anything like that. I just wanna kind of make it translucent to kind of bring out some of those flavors. Let the love come out of it just a touch. Okay. The next step here, I'm actually going to add the risotto right in here. Risotto is actually, you can look for it in the stores, called Arborio rice. The grain is actually a short grain. You cook it a little bit differently than you normally would with your regular rice. What you do with Arborio is I'm actually going to put the Arborio rice in. Instead, normally when you're making rice, what you do is you're going to put in your rice in your stock or your water, whichever one you're going to use, and you're just going to let it cover and let it sit. In this case, you're actually going to keep stirring it. Regular rice, you don't want to stir it. You're going to have this big mushy mess. But with this, you actually want to kind of let it toast just a touch. That loveliness. When you start to see your rice toast just a little bit, go ahead and add your garlic. Now, the key to this is when you add your garlic, this is, I believe I used two cloves of garlic. You can never have too much garlic. I used 2 cloves of garlic. At this point, you want to have your stock close by. As soon as you smell the garlic, as soon as you smell it begin to perfume, you want to go ahead and start ladling in your stock. If your garlic burns or if it gets too hot and it burns, it'll make your dish turn bitter, and you never want that to happen. So I'm going to have my ladles here, smelling for garlic, like that. Smells very good. Okay, now I'm going to go right in with my stock. Now, the key to risotto is as you ladle in your stock, you actually have to keep stirring. So once you start risotto, you're pretty much stuck at your stove. So, which is not a bad thing because risotto was amazing. So the key to it is quick stirs. You don't want to just let it sit and walk away and go do something and come back. Because what can happen is it'll develop a film at the bottom. It'll start to stick, and you don't want that to happen. It'll begin to scorch, and you get this entire burnt scorch taste. You don't want that to happen. But you're going to stay here and love on it some. I haven't added any seasoning yet, and you can actually add seasoning at this point if you'd like to do that. But your stock, always taste your stock because you never know how salty it is. So if my stock was pretty salty, I don't want to start adding salt at the same time, then I have this giant salt bomb at the end. So we're just going to give that a stir. While that's happening, I'm going to check on this chicken and see what's happening with the chicken. Oh, look at that color. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. When I'm doing chicken, I like, especially if it's this big, I'm actually going to start it here, and then I'm going to finish the chicken in the oven, just like that. The entire pan is going to go in there. It's going to keep cooking while it's working. And my wonderful risotto is going to keep going. I'm going to continue to add stock. You kind of add it ladleful at a time. How do you know when to add the next ladleful? When you can actually see the bottom of your pan, you can take your spoon and scrape right across like that. When you can see the bottom of the pan and the rice, I guess the juice doesn't soak back up over your spoon very fast. When you can see your bottom of your pan, go ahead and add a little bit more stock at that point. And you're just going to kind of keep stirring it nice. Make sure you get those edges and everything like that. This is when you kind of keep going, give it some love. You'll know when it's done because you can take a small grain out and just bite into it. Always use your front teeth. That way you can kind of know. It's called al dente, it's called, which means to the tooth. You'll know exactly how tender it is. So once you have that, it's going to look like this. Beautiful risotto. It's going to come out looking absolutely beautiful. I'm actually going to switch spoons so I can give this a nice stir and lots of love. Nice and thick and absolutely gorgeous. At this point, we have our pomodorriccio tomatoes, which again is a semi-sun-dried tomato, and also our basil. I'm just going to put that right inside of there, along with the basil, fresh basil, and give that a nice stir. Oh, it smells so wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, that's beautiful. Like that. You can also add cheese to this as well. You can do so many wonderful things with it. I encourage you to play with recipes. Definitely do things with recipes. I also like to put mushroom, asparagus, so many things you can play around with. You can make this one dish. It can also be a side dish as well too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take just a touch of my risotto, plate it like this. That looks absolutely gorgeous. Just like that, okay? And then for our chicken, I'm just gonna run back over here. Remember, when you're getting something out of the oven, you wanna always, of course, have one of these, but the pots can be kind of tricky. The pans, simply because sometimes we can forget that the actual handle is hot too. So don't forget that part. But you're gonna have that gorgeous sear on your chicken, and it's gonna look just like that. Enjoy this meal. I know I will. Have a wonderful day.